So I've lived in apartments that when you turn the light on, you see some cockroaches running. And I've lived a life where sometimes when a light is shining on a situation in my life, I've felt exposed, naked, and somewhat ashamed. You ever been there?
I've been there. In today's episode, we're going to actually be talking about what do you do in that moment when you feel exposed and you feel the weight of your condemnation all over you. That and more coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Logos. Learn more about the world's best Bible study software at logos.com/themove.
Welcome back to The Move, where we are vibing with the book 10 minutes at a time. We're your hosts, Jonathan and Justin.
Today we're going to be looking at John chapter 8, verses 12 all the way to 30.
Yes, and with that being said, there is a question. Have you read it? If you haven't, it's in the comments below, and we'll put 10 minutes on the clock, and we'll get going. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1.
So this chapter is a continuation on the previous 11 verses. And the reason why that's important is there's a little parentheses around those verses. You know, some discussion is around, well, not even discussion. It's not in the original oldest manuscripts that we have available presently. So when the verse says, again, Jesus speaks to them, it's actually drawing a tie to what was happening before verses 1 through 11. Jesus is present at this feast, and there's this party going on. People are celebrating all these different rituals that are going on. And Jesus enters into this space and says, I am the light of the world.
This is just coming off the heels of, now I know this ain't like, well, I'm going to just say it. In my mind, I'm like, Jesus is kind of reckless because he has gone down to this event that is a pretty big time event for the nation of Israel at a pretty big time moment at the end of the week. And he just stands up and draws all attention to himself and then has the gall to basically make the point that this whole festival, y'all are all gathering around, the whole nation, all however million of you, it's all about me.
And he's doing this more and more, and we see this definitely this kind of acceleration in Jesus coming more and more bold with his mission and the clarity in which he's articulating it. I'm the light of the world, but he doesn't just stop there. It's not just, I'm the light of the world. Cool, Jesus, good facts.
Yeah.
He says, whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life.
Okay, so now Jesus is moving from I am the central figure of your national festival to actually saying I am the central figure by which the whole earth is illuminated. And not only the whole earth, but all of humanity is illuminated via me. And if you don't follow after me, you're in darkness.
Yeah, and this is something that would, immediately challenge a lot of people listening. Clearly, we see as it does.
Hold on, I gotta slow you down. That's a funny sentence. You just said that is a sentence that would challenge many people. If some dude showed up and was like,
okay, fair.
You see what I'm saying?
He's like, all right.
That's a sentence that would challenge many. Bruh, he just said all of reality revolves around him.
Way to do understatement, for sure. No doubt.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. So we can kind of understand why they think to themselves, who does this dude think he is?
Because within context, there's a lot of times light has been very, very, very important to the Jews.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Leaving Egypt, there was the fire that would guide them throughout the night, that would protect them, that would shelter them. The Bible talks about the Lord is my light and my salvation. It talks about the law of God and the Word of God as being a lamp to our feet. There's this whole idea that light is a central and important theme within Judaism.
It's an identifying marker of the nation, this idea of light, right? Not only an identifying marker, I mean, conceptually, philosophically, religiously, right? This whole motif, this whole theme around light is very much a part of the very fabric of not only who they are, but how they see and frame reality.
Yeah, and not just them, but you were saying for all people in every religion, it would seem that light is kind of this central thing. It's like we all need light. So he's not even just like saying I'm the answer for just y'all. I'm the answer for everything, for everyone.
And of course, they follow verse 14. He talks about bearing witness of myself, right? Oh, verse 13, excuse me. You bring witness about yourself. Your testimony isn't true, right? And that's a really nice way of saying,
you're lying.
You're lying. Like, are you kidding me? You're the light of the world. But again, fascinating thing in the book of John, Jesus doubles down, right? And he doubles down in that I know where I came from. I know where I am going, but you do not know where I come from or where I am going. So not that he positioned, but he correctly calls them out for saying, you lack a certain amount of illumination. You're
ignorant about something. You lack light on this thing. You're in darkness.
Yeah.
You don't even know who I am. You don't even know who sent me or where I'm going.
Yeah.
You're in darkness.
Now, all right. I don't know about you, but you pointed out something before we started shooting that I want to draw on. And that is that whenever I've been positioned as ignorant, not that I've been positioned, or maybe when it becomes absolutely clear that I'm ignorant.
Yeah.
Right?
When it's revealed
that you're like, somebody asks you a question, you're like, right? Or I had this happen recently, and I don't know why, and the Lord was like disciplining me for it. Somebody asked me a question about whether or not I knew somebody. I had made reference to somebody that I knew in culture, right?
You're doing the little name drop thing.
Yeah, well, not the name drop. Yeah, I have to ask myself, did I do it for cred? But it's along those lines, right?
Bro, come on, stop playing. You don't really know so-and-so.
But they asked, like, do you know? And I was like, yeah.
But you know.
Bro, and I don't know why. And then I'm finding myself like, why did I say that? Like, I'm a grown man. Why do I need...
It's this imposter syndrome, this fear of like, oh no, now they know. Now they figured it out.
Because there are other people that I do know. There are other people that have interacted with it in the past, right? And I don't know. I thought I had to keep some sort of consistency that there are like, sure, I know this famous person, I know that famous person, I know this person that's cool that some y'all would know, but then there are people that I just don't know, right? But I couldn't say that I didn't know them. Like, it just came out and I was like, yeah, I know, right? And to be positioned in that place, and you feel like I can't be seen as ignorant. I can't be seen as not knowing if somebody positions me. And you illuminated earlier that Jesus says he's the light of the world, and their response is seemingly to be positioned in this sort of
defensive nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, later, I mean, maybe it's later this chapter, but other parts of the book's like, no. We know who we are. We know who our Father is.
They double down in their ignorance, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that just speaks to me. Because, and this was the thing that you said. You said that the light of the world comes in, and he says, I don't judge.
Yeah, and this is what's beautiful about it, is because a lot of times in my life, I've had similar experience, maybe not like such these kinds of like trivial versions of it, but like in real situations in which someone comes to me, hey, and they do this, brother.
Yeah.
Can we talk?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, and then they do this thing. We're like, all right, but let's pray first. Dang it! Like, my heart sinks every time.
You already know you're being positioned. And
I don't even know what happened, but I'm like, oh man, something's wrong. I messed up
myself
100%. And there's this thing that rises up within me, right?
I've read about that.
Yeah, we talked about that a whole bunch in last season. Yeah. But there's this thing that rises up, and it makes us defensive and makes us combative. But the beauty about what Jesus says is that he says, hey, listen, I am not here to judge. Verse 15, you judge according to the flesh, but I judge no one.
And that's crazy, because what he's saying is like, I'm just light.
I
just shine and illuminate.
There's darkness there. But there's no judgment or no condemnation in the revealing of darkness.
So then where does that actually come from? Like, where is it that in that moment that you feel that you're naked
and ashamed?
Yeah. And you hide from being exposed.
Yeah.
When light comes to you, right?
You know, the temptation is to say that, oh, you know what? That's the Father. Because it's you hear the voice or hear the sound of the Father walking
in the
cool
garden of the day.
But then it actually says this. Listen, I judge no one. But even if I were to judge, my judgment may be true. For it's not I alone who judge, but I and the Father who sent me. In other words, what Jesus is saying is, listen, I'm not judging. Father's not judging either.
That's crazy.
But if we wanted to, our judgment would be accurate.
But we feel so judged when light shines, right? We feel so judged when things are illuminated. And as we follow in the passage, he begins to just let them know, like, listen, you guys can't follow the way I'm actually leading because you're not following me. And where I'm going, you can't come because you're under somebody else's leading, and that's why you're in darkness.
Jesus uses it this way. He says, you neither know me nor my Father. He says, you don't even know who your Father is.
So it's hitting me that then there's this place where I feel exposed because I don't know who I am.
That's right.
Right? Like in that little bit, like I want you to see me for something that I'm not, and I need to play up or double down because I want you to see me for something that I'm not even sure I am.
Because sometimes we think that the lie of who we are is better than the truth of who we are. And Jesus has come to reveal, no, the truth of who you are is better than you could ever imagine. Let my light shine in you, even to the dark places, so that you might know who you are, because you know who I am and who my Father is.
That's good, because that's giving me chicken skin right now, right? Like I'm like, man, that's so good, because I know I've been guilty of that.
100%.
And I know I've been exposed, right?
Oh, yeah. Doesn't feel good.
To find out that the condemnation doesn't come from him. He's like, I judge no one. I judge no one. Like, and if I did, I'd be right, but
even still, I don't need to.
Even still, I don't need to. And like my illuminating is to actually bring light into darkness. And what's so dope is that so that there might be a revelation of what things truly are. All right. We'll get to that in the next 10. Oh, and by the way, it's the next 10 live from Honolulu, Hawaii. So that's why it looks a little bit different.
A little bit different. Yeah, that's why his hair is a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm just living that beach. I'm living my best life. I got board shorts on below this. Y'all can't see. I'm living my best life. We'll see y'all in the next 10.
Hey movers, I recently got to travel to the Logos headquarters and ended up recording several tutorials on how you and I can get more from our Bible study using Logos. To see the entire playlist of videos, visit logos.com/themove and get 10% off any Logos 8 product you want. logos.com/themove.